All right, so let's find out. Are we on the path to getting the elections in Rivers concluded? Let's find out. Markwe?
Well, thank you, Chamberlain. We will be asking Mr. Festus Okoye this morning, who is the National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee of INEC. You're welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Thank you very much.
Can you give us a status report of what precisely is going to happen today, or what has happened already in Rivers State, in Port Harcourt, Rivers State?
Well, we issued a timetable and schedule of activities for the conclusion of the collation process of both the governorship and state assembly elections in Rivers State. And we've been following these timelines religiously. We've had interaction with the leadership of the various security forces. We've also had a stakeholders meeting in Rivers State, which, as far as I'm concerned, was hugely successful. We have also done revalidation of the observers list and the list of party agents. And then today, we will definitely begin the collation of results from all the local governments, from all the wards, and from the polling units.
What was the outcome of your discussion with security agents? Because you've heard there at the stakeholders meeting,
yes,
some of the stakeholders believe that, but for the interference of security agencies, which you also observed in your own report, perhaps INEC would have been concluded in its assignment. So what can you say with the assurances given to you by the security agencies?
Well, we had a robust engagement with the leadership of all the security agencies, and the assurance we got was the assurance of professionalism and ethical conduct throughout the collation process. And as you can see, the various security agencies, the DSS, the police, the army, and the rest of them are cooperating with the commission. And we believe that with their cooperation and their professionalism, we are going to conclude this particular process, and the people of Rivers State will be happy for it.
What precisely are you doing today? You say you're collating results. We understand that you say you still have results from 17 local government areas. 17 local government areas, is that right?
Yes. Now, you know, the process of results collation goes through so many stages. You first of all start the collation from the polling units. You sort out and then you announce the results from the polling units. Thereafter, you take the results to the registration areas, or what in popular parlance is called the wards. The results are also collated at the ward level. Then the results are moved from the ward level to the local government level. The results are collated at the local government level before it gets to the state collation center. For state assembly elections, after you finish the registration area collation, it goes to the local government collation, and then it goes to the various state assembly constituencies for purposes of announcement of the results. Now, for Rivers State, 17 of the results are already at the level of local government collation. So those ones are more or less completed. Now, for six of the local governments, in a place like Abua Odua, we didn't deploy at all to any of the polling units in the local government. So for that particular local government is in abeyance, because nothing was done in that particular local government. In a place like Gokana, all the resource sheets were burnt and everything was destroyed. So these two local governments are in a class of their own. But for Ahuada West, for instance, we have resource for 24 of the polling units collected already out of almost 100 polling units you have in a place like Ahuada. Now, in Asari Toro, we have all the results from the polling unit level. So they have not been collected at the level of the registration areas. So what will happen today is that the results will be collected at the registration area in the same place. And then for a place like Degama, results for 10 of the registration areas has been collected, remaining 7. While in Kana local government, the results are still at the PU level. So what we are going to do is that at the place where we are going to carry out this collation, there will be people who are going to be collecting results from the PU level. Then we are going to have people who are going to be collecting results from the registration areas level. And then some people will be collecting results from the level of the local government level. So that's exactly what is going to happen today.
Are they going to be centrally located, or what precisely is the plan? Are they going to go back to the polling units or the registration areas? How are they going to be going about this?
Because of the security situation in Rivers State and because of our own appreciation of what is going on, we are going to locate these collations centrally so that the security agencies will be in a position to provide perimeter security and security at the venue. So they are going to be centrally located.
Now, at the end of the day, do you see any court cases coming up as a result of this type of collation? Some might argue that they have not seen it done before, or would you have anticipated this and maybe have gone to court to try and preempt any such hiccups?
As far as what the commission is concerned, what we did in Rivers was to suspend the electoral process. And the electoral process is a continuum until we make a declaration and make a return. So we are still engaged in the electoral process, and both the Constitution and the Electoral Act gives us the mandate to complete the process of collation of results. Until we complete that particular collation of results, we are still engaged in the electoral process. We do not anticipate and we do not speculate about court cases. Our expectation is that the people of Rivers State and the political parties that engage in this particular process should allow the electoral process to come to its final conclusion. This is because the electoral process has a terminal date. By the 29th or 30th of April, we will have gone out of the constitutional window. And the moment you fall off out of the constitutional window, you have to now fall back on the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and maybe the Supreme Court for direction and the path to take. And we do not want to get to that particular direction, where at the end of the day, there won't be any elected governor in Rivers State and the state assemblies will not be inaugurated, in which case power will now go and devolve maybe to the chief judge of the state to pilot affairs of the state for some time. We have a window to conclude this process. The people of Rivers State deserve to have this process concluded, and all the political parties should cooperate to make sure that we conclude this particular process because it's in everybody's interest. We cannot have an electoral process that in a state of flux, and we cannot have our democracy going through this type of thing. For the previous election petitions, all the election petition tribunals sat in Abuja because of the security situation in Rivers State. In this particular instance, we want a situation where Rivers will not be the exception to the norm in Nigeria. We want Rivers State to conclude this particular process and join the rest of the country so that we do not have a situation where we will have a profiling of a particular state and the state being tagged as a state where you can never have elections without violence. We want to conclude this process, and we are determined to conclude this process, and we have the courage and the stamina and the presence of mind to conclude this process. And that is why we have 3 national commissioners in Rivers State. We have a complement of some resident electoral commissioners in Rivers State, and we have a professional staff that will conclude this process in Rivers State.
But tell us, I mean, you say you have 17 local governments already. Rivers has 23 local government areas, is that right?
Yes.
What's going to happen to the remaining 6, which you do not have?
No, that's exactly what I have explained to you. The 17 we have are the 17 local governments where the results are ready to be presented to the returning officer for the governorship elections. The remaining 6 for Abua, Odua, and for Gokana, elections practically did not take place in those areas. Now, for the remaining 4, the results are at various stages. For Kana, we have all the PU results. So what is going to happen is that the PU results will go through collation at the registration area level. Then it will also go through collation at the local government level to get it into the state where the other 17 are. Now, in some other areas like in Degema, the results for 10 of the registration areas has already been collected, remaining 7. So these local governments where we do not have complete collation, we go through the process of collation as outlined in the Electoral Act 2010 as amended, while in 2 of the local governments where we did not deploy at all, or deployment was carried out and result sheets were destroyed, they are going to be suspended pending the determination by the returning officer on the issue of margin of lead after all the collations have been done. If the results from those two local governments will affect the outcome of the elections, then the returning officer for the governorship elections will not make any return. But if it will not affect the outcome of the elections, the returning officer will definitely make a declaration and make a return for the governorship election. And then for the other local governments, out of the 32 local governments in Rivers State, I think we have the results for 22.
32 local governments?
Yes.
23.
32 state assembly seats in Rivers State. We have the results for 22. And then the rest will be concluded maybe by the end of today.
But, I mean, you've talked about local governments where there was deployment and local governments where materials got burnt or were destroyed.
Yes.
I'm sure that they also have people representing those local governments at the State House of Assembly.
Yes.
What's going to happen to their positions?
Well, at the end of the day, the commission will have to conduct elections because those people are also entitled to have their representatives at the State Assembly. But the security situation has to be assessed, and then we have to make a determination on when it is right and rational and reasonable to go to those areas and complete the electoral process.
But in the meantime, 17 will be declared today, and this remaining 4 where, you know, you still have some sorts of results. Is that right? Well,
the collation will be going on at various stages. Those who are collating the results from the PU level will be at one side of the table or one side of the hall doing that. Those who are collating at the registration area will be doing their own collation at the registration area. Those who have reached the state of local government collation will be at the local government collation tables, tidying up collation. And then the returning officer will also be there to receive results that are ready. And this will be done between today and the 5th of April.